cognitive learning.
Okay.
Effective teachers plan their lessons so students attend to what is being taught and ignore irrelevant stimuli. In practical terms, how is this achieved in today's classroom?
Well, practically, I think it's important to have the lesson planned.
Yeah.
Because if the lesson isn't planned and the teacher doesn't know what they're doing when they walk in the classroom,
Yeah.
then they're not going to be able to get the students to focus
Okay.
on what's being taught.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. To assist the students to focus on the important things that need to be taught.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of stimulus in classrooms these days,
Yeah.
especially with the modern classrooms.
So in practical terms,
Mm-hmm.
I use my voice.
Yeah.
I find that's very effective.
Yeah.
But also gestures as well.
Okay.
Particularly if I'm using the board or if I'm using an overhead projector or PowerPoint or something like that. I also, when I'm teaching something, when it's for the parts when it's teacher centered, to make sure that students maintain their attention, I often will ask them questions about things like the meaning of words.
So you would prompt them with some questions?
Yes, or elicit responses from them to see whether or not they're listening and whether they understand what I'm talking about as well.
Keeping them on their feet.
Yeah,
on their toes, right?
yes. And there will always be students that are focused and engaged, and they're the ones that will usually respond to my open questions. So I make a point, if there are students that I see in the class who do not appear to be focusing on what I'm teaching, I'll make a point of using their name and asking them so that they're aware that I'm aware.
So you're constantly engaging these students who might be losing focus?
Trying to, yes. And then for student-centered activities where the students are, for example, applying their knowledge to an activity, whether it be individually or as a group, I constantly walk around the class and I'll ask individual students or groups how they're going and if they're having any difficulties, particularly if I see someone who's not doing anything, I prompt them to join in.
Okay, that's good.